Hi, I'm Lan. I'm a Chinese mom, sharing quiet, everyday life in China. I'm someone who usually likes to move quickly and get things done without dragging them out. But today, I'm taking my 12-year-old son and his friend to hike one of the most popular mountains in our city. There is an old temple on the mountain, and we want to go there to make a wish. I wonder if today will go as smoothly as I hope. This mountain is not very high, but it is a very popular place to visit in China. Along the way, there is an old temple with a history of over 1,000 years, a traditional academy, and quiet pavilions. At the foot of the mountain is the university area, and this is also where I went to university. So to me, it is more than just a mountain. It carries many memories from my student days. We had to park at a shopping mall a bit farther away. This is a university area, so parking near the mountain is almost impossible for visitors. From there, we walked through a small snack street before reaching the foot of the mountain. As we crossed the street toward the snack street, we were already talking about what drinks to get first. Of course, I let my son and his friend decide. After all, if they were happy, the rest of the day would be much easier. In the end, they chose Mixu, a very affordable drink chain in China. My son's friend wanted to pay for himself, but I told him not to worry. I paid for both drinks through WeChat and treated him. It was only around 10:30 in the morning, so the street was still quiet, and many of the snack shops were not fully open yet. Before drinking it, I copied my son and his friend and shook the cup first, so the drink and ice could mix more evenly. It was only 7 yuan, about $1, which is really affordable. As we walked farther, the snack street started to get busier. There were so many different snacks that I couldn't help looking around. Some shops here are actually quite famous in this city, and people often wait in line for them, but we were not going to stop yet. We wanted to go up the mountain first. The two boys were chatting happily the whole way. This is something I've learned as a mom. When taking kids out, try to bring a friend along if you can. They have someone to talk to, and it makes the day much easier for the adults. Of course, I would sometimes slow down and join their conversation. They were talking about nicknames in their class. Being given a nickname can be annoying, but somehow, not having one can also feel a little disappointing. I guess many of us had these small worries when we were children too. There were no snack shops on this part of the road, but there were many old campus buildings, some of them nearly 100 years old. This is one of the things I like about this university area. Walking through this area, I could feel the history of Yuelu Academy, as well as the quiet, bookish atmosphere of an old university campus. After walking a little farther, we turned left at the intersection and arrived at Dongfang Home Square, one of the most famous places near Yuelu Mountain. There is a statue of Mao Zedong here, standing with Yuelu Mountain behind it, and the Sangjiang River in the distance. Around the square, camphor trees provide deep shade, and students and visitors often stop to look, take photos, and feel the quiet, respectful atmosphere of the place. The red building by the road was built in 1933. It is a favorite photo spot for Hunan University graduates. Every June, during graduation season, students come here in their gowns to take photos, and it becomes one of the most beautiful sights in this university area. As I got closer to the foot of the mountain, there were more and more visitors, and the shops became busier too. My son and his friend had already walked ahead and were waiting for me in front. This is a very typical scene at the entrance of a scenic spot in China. Lots of local snack shops, vendors calling out to customers, and a lively street full of food smells. I finally found my son and his friend in front of a small shop. My son didn't even seem to notice that I was late. He just kept talking with his friend and walked on toward the mountain. Although it was not the peak summer travel season yet, it was Saturday, so there were still many people going up and down the mountain. Yuelu Mountain is part of a national 5O scenic area in China. There is no entrance fee, but visitors still need to make a reservation through a mobile mini program before entering. After the reservation is confirmed, you get a QR code and scan it at the entrance gate to go in. It was almost noon by then, and even under the trees, the mountain still felt hot. I quietly watched the two boys behind me, hoping they could keep going and not ask to head back too early. So I slowed down loud, walked with them, and kept the conversation going, hoping it would make the climb feel a little easier. Then I noticed that the boys had found their own little interest along the way. There are many old trees on this mountain, some of them over 100 years old, and some even several hundred years old. Each old tree has a small sign showing its age and species. The boys seemed to enjoy checking every sign they passed. They would stop, look at the age of the tree, and then move on to the next one. Just like that, they followed the old trees all the way up the mountain. As a mom, moments like this make me feel that children do not always need us to arrange everything for them. Sometimes, once they find something interesting by themselves, the road suddenly becomes much easier for them to walk. We reached the entrance of Lushan Ancient Temple much more smoothly than I expected. At the entrance stood a camphor tree more than 700 years old. The fence around it was covered with red wish ribbons, carrying people's prayers for health, peace, love, studies, and many other hopes. Lushan Ancient Temple sits halfway up Yuelu Mountain, hidden among old trees and deep shade. It has a history of more than 1,700 years. But when I stood here, what I felt most was not just how old it was, but how quiet it suddenly became. Down the mountain, there were busy snack streets, students, visitors, and the smell of food everywhere. But inside the temple, everything seemed to slow down. The red walls, the old gate, the shaded courtyard, and the soft sound of people walking all made the place feel calm and peaceful. Maybe this is why people like coming to places like this. We walk up from the noise of daily life, and for a short moment, we find a quieter place to make a wish, to think, or simply to breathe. I made a wish for my son. He is about to move from primary school to middle school, and I hope he can find a school that feels right for him. As a mother, I cannot arrange everything for him, but I still quietly wish him a smooth path ahead. We didn't stop to rest. Instead, we walked to the nearby Guanyin Hall to see the 1,000-year-old pine tree. Many locals in Changsha come here to pray for peace, safety, and love. The Guanyin Pavilion is said to have survived wars and remained intact, making it one of the oldest buildings left in this ancient temple. Standing here, I could feel a deeper sense of time and quietness. This ancient pine tree is said to be more than 1,700 years old. It has lived through so many changes, yet it still stands here quietly, like a living witness to the history of the temple. Seeing how carefully the staff protect and support it, I felt that preserving something old is also a way of respecting time. I quietly waited for the two boys to finish visiting the Guanyin Pavilion. They had already decided that they wanted to go down the mountain by themselves and skip the next Taoist temple. I didn't object. They have been to Yuelu Mountain many times since they were little, and for them, today's little goal of getting close to nature had already been reached. Sometimes, as a mother, I also had to learn to stop at the right moment. I wiped the sweat from my face and continued walking. From here, it would take about 15 more minutes to reach Yuelu Palace. Soon, I reached the Yuelu Palace, a little out of breath. This is a Taoist temple with a history of more than 500 years. Compared with Lushan Ancient Temple, it felt quieter and almost a little otherworldly. There were fewer people, more trees, and a cooler breeze. From the viewing platform, I could see Changsha, the Squan River, and Orange Isle in the distance. The view was really beautiful. As I looked out over Changsha, I felt how quickly time had passed. I came here as a university student, then got married and had my child in this city. Before I knew it, I had been here for more than 20 years. Maybe Changsha has already become my second hometown. I chose a smaller path to go down the mountain, hoping to get back a little faster so the two boys would not have to wait for me too long at the bottom. On the way up, time always seems to move slowly, but on the way down, everything feels much faster, as if the mountain is quietly sending you back to daily life. Soon, the quietness of the temple was behind me, and the lively street appeared again. There were more visitors, more voices, and the snack shops at the foot of the mountain were already much busier than before. As I was hurrying through the crowd, my son and his friend brought me some fried potato pieces to try. He said they were really good, but also very hot. So he kept telling me to be careful and not burn my mouth. Moments like this always make me feel that he is still my little boy, but also slowly learning to care for me in his own way. As we walked through the snack street at the foot of the mountain, the two boys seemed pretty full from the food they had just eaten, so they were not interested in eating anything else. My food goal was very simple: mung bean cake. I like this kind of traditional Chinese snack, soft, slightly sweet, and not too heavy. For people of my generation, this is also one of the sweetest tastes of childhood. Back then, we did not have as many modern packaged snacks as kids do today. Most of the treats we had were simple traditional pastries like this. The second thing I had to buy was taro ball-shaped ice from a Chinese dessert shop, and it had to be from the shop I usually go to. Taro ball-shaped ice is one of my favorite Chinese desserts. It has crushed ice, chewy taro bones, sweet beans, grass jelly, and a light sweet soup or milk base. It tastes cold, soft, and refreshing, especially after walking in the heat. We packed 4 bowls to take away, including one for my husband. My son's friend took the takeout bag from me. He said that since I had treated him today, he wanted to return the favor by helping carry the food. It made me smile. Sometimes children show their kindness in very simple ways. After crossing the street, we arrived back at the parking lot. The two boys had both been really well behaved today. They walked, waited, made their own little plans, and took care of each other along the way. For me, that already made the day feel very smooth. On the way back, my son said that he and his friend would take the packed shaved ice to his friend's home and eat it there. At their age, friendship starts to feel especially important. They like staying together almost all the time, even when they are just doing something simple or boring. Maybe having someone beside them is already enough. As I walked downstairs, I thought I heard our little dog barking. He is almost entering his puppy teenage phase now, and he has become very sensitive. These days, even a small sound can make him bark. The first thing I had to do was prepare lunch for our little dog. He had been waiting at home, so he was probably getting hungry. After feeding our little dog, I finally sat down and shared the snacks we brought back with my husband. I told him about hiking with our son today, the wish I made for him, and the university students I saw in their graduation gowns. It reminded us of our own student days. The mountain is still the same mountain, but we are no longer standing in the same season of life.